Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DC films. So, towards the beginning of this year, I think it was late January, we got the first part for the Crisis on Infinite Earths animated event, with the second part coming out about, around a month ago, around a month ago or so. And as we know, there are three parts. So, we now have that trailer for the third part. Now, I did really enjoy the first part of this event. I thought it was not only a great self-contained story on its own, you could just watch it by itself and that was it, but also played really well into the larger three-part story and set up what was going forward pretty well. Unfortunately, I wasn't the biggest fan of the second part that came out recently. I didn't hate it. I've seen some people going like really hard on it, saying it's, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever, which I guess that's the internet, so everything is either 10 out of 10 or 0 out of 10 to some people, but it was just a bit of a letdown, especially in comparison to the first part, at least to me. But as I said, we now have the trailer for part 3, so as you'd expect, we're going to break it down. Now, unfortunately, I can't play the trailer due to copyright. I will show screenshots and stuff like that. It's just that they just copyright the trailer all the time. It's really annoying, just how it is, I guess. But of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, drop a like on the video to show support. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below your expectations and thoughts on this and what you're looking forward to. Now, just quickly to touch upon part 2 and how it ended, like literally how we're going from part 2 into part 3. We had the Anti-Monitor, or really the Shadow Demon form of the Anti-Monitor. I'm still not too sure if that's going to be his final form or if we're going to see Anti-Monitor, like proper Anti-Monitor. I'm not too sure. If that's his form, I'm fine with it, but I'm not too sure if there's like another reveal. There could be, but at the same time, I'm not too sure. That's a wait and see. But essentially, the Monitor is killed essentially by Harbinger, aka Supergirl, but influenced. And then we do see the Monitor pretty much about to kill all of our heroes, but it cuts off, and it's for good reason. And the trailer really highlights why that was cut there and then. And that was probably one of the things I actually didn't mind about part 2 was how it ended, because it allows part 3 to pretty much get into it and just go bang, 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 bang throughout the entire thing. I think if they'd kept going for a tiny bit at the end of part 2 and then maybe set up what the beginning of part 3 would be, then maybe it wouldn't have worked as well, or just been a bit messy once we got to part 3. So I actually like how part 2 ended in regards to at least like a consistency and momentum side of things. Now, the big thing with this third and final part is that there is still a decent amount of story left to tell. Not a ridiculous amount, but just a decent amount left to tell if they go on to follow the comic story as it goes forward from where we ended part 2. But based off the trailer, it does feel like they will follow it for the most part, but just, I don't know if speed run's the best word to put it, but, get through it a bit quickly in certain areas where they don't have to dwell too much. But to start off the trailer, we do see something from the Crisis comics, which is following the death of the Monitor. So after Harbinger, aka Supergirl, obviously influence attacks him. Reminder, Supergirl isn't Harbinger in the comics, but in this storyline, that's the way they're going with it, which I'm fine with. Some people don't like it. I'm fine with it. But anyway, after he's, killed, the Monitor's body is turned into like an energy of sorts, and we see multiple beams of energy get shot out through space and onto the different Earths surrounding his ship. We see those Earths transported into this area, which we later see or hear referred to as the Bleed. Now, the Bleed is from the comics. It sits between the Earths of the Multiverse. Now, this is brought up in various comics throughout DC's catalog. Of course, those that either use the multiverse or reference the multiverse. But in Crisis on Infinite Earths in the comics, I can't remember it being referred to as the Bleed. It was just like this other place, like this empty place that wasn't within reach of the Anti-Monitor at that time. I might be wrong, but I just don't remember it being referred to then as the Bleed. And also in the comics, it's just Earth 1 and Earth 2 from memory that get put there. It looks like there's many more Earths, though I must say in the trailer when they show Earths being transported, they only show 2 Earths being properly transported. But then we go to that Bleed area and you see like heaps of Earths there. So I don't know how many get put there, but it's definitely more than Earth 1 and Earth 2, who from memory are the only ones that get transported in the comics. But of course, Harbinger, aka Supergirl, killing the Monitor and causing this failsafe essentially that was set up by the Monitor was timed pretty well, as the heroes were about to be annihilated by the Anti-Monitor at the end of part 2, as this happened. So perfect coincidental timing, I guess. Now, after being sent into the Bleed, where, they talk about time and space being messed up here and they sort of fold upon each other and things appear where they shouldn't be, thus seeing heroes from different periods and even things from different periods like dinosaurs emerging and all that. This is what happened in the comics as well. And in the comics, you also saw future stuff there as well. So some flying crap. So don't know if that's maybe some future heroes. We actually do see Batman Beyond there. So Does that count, I guess? But this will most likely be where we see a various amount of cameos, whether they are just visual or also audio as well. So voices of actors when it comes to seeing different like multiversal and time period displaced DC things, and all that. Like we know that Kevin Conroy will voice Batman from the animated series, for one final time in this film, as of course he did sadly pass away recently, with Mark Hamill also returning to voice the Joker. There was like a clip of it. I don't know if there's more than that, if it's just a one quick scene thing or there's a bit more to it. That's a wait and see. But we know that they're reprising those roles in this third and final part of this event. But probably the biggest surprise, I guess, was a cameo, or cameos, that wasn't confirmed, because we do see a cameo which I just wasn't expecting, which is the goddamn Super Friends. Now, I don't know why I was overly surprised, because, I mean, it is Crisis and stuff like this just shouldn't be surprising, but just, I guess, caught me off guard seeing that classic animation style mixed with this newer style. Like, I think, yeah, it just threw me off for a bit. I don't know if they're going to talk. I don't know. But we do see like Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Superman in the background. Then you see Batman in the foreground, picking up a letter. And I know there is still the question and curiosity of like a live action characters turned into animation or animated forms of their live action selves, complete with the actor doing the voice acting. But I feel like they will just focus on the animated side of things. I even saw someone saying, will they do some like weird trippy thing where we go to live action? Highly, highly doubt that would be the case. The biggest stretch would be if like, there was some voice acting things, but I just have a feeling they'll focus on the animated side of things. Also, because we had the CW Crisis, which is like the live action side where they were able to tap into the movie and TV side of things from the past. So they can just do the animation things for this one. But you never know. You never know what surprises could be in store. Constantine. Now, he is, I guess, somewhat of a focus in like the final third of the trailer, I guess. Now, they seem to know that he is from a time before the multiverse. And now this does make you wonder, is this maybe some information left behind by the Monitor? Thinking, well, I knew that I was going to die. By the way, I forgot to say that. Don't know if it was said in part 2 or if it's said in this trailer. In the comics, he knows he's going to die. Like, he knows pretty much he's going to die, and he sort of, that's why he has like the fail safe where Earth 1 and Earth 2 get put to safety. So I do wonder if that's the case in this movie event. You'd have to think that's the case. So you'd have to think, okay, well, I know I'm going to die, but I know I'm not going to have enough time to speak to people, so I'll leave some information behind. This could be like the whole thing about Constantine. And of course, Constantine did play that, I guess, pariah part to an extent in this event. Like, so did the Flash as well, in that like opening part of this event early this year. And in the comic series, from memory, Pariah is sort of given like an information dump, and the reasoning here is important by the Monitor. I think it was before he dies, so I might be wrong, but that's roughly what I remember. So maybe the Monitor may have left something behind which Batman might find here, for example, that reveals Constantine's importance to not only the story, but what's going to happen right here, right now, or just something he might know that they need, and Monitor wasn't able to exactly find out what it is. But of course, we know Constantine is from the Flashpoint sort of timeline, and then in the, the dark side thing, whatever it was, whatever that, the like Justice League Dark War thing, whatever it was, where everyone got sort of screwed up, but then he remembers after like the Flash runs off. So he remembers all that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays into this third part of Crisis, and whether it means we see some familiar things from the previous universe. I'm not too sure. But these characters know that he knows, or that he was from there, might I say. But yeah, we don't have a release date for this thing as of yet. I mean, the last part came out about a month ago, which came out about 3 months after the first part. So I guess we can assume maybe late July. And you know why that wouldn't be surprising? Because we also have Comic-Con at the end of the July, and we do have a pretty decent track record with Comic-Con and animated movies premiering there. So it would not be too much of a shock if they premiere part 3, maybe do parts 1 and 2 in like a watch along thing there as well, and then do the premiere for part 3 at Comic-Con, and then it releases like that Friday or that weekend, whatever it is, on digital and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if end of July is when we see this third part get released, but that's a wait and see. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have my expectations not set too high, but just to the bit where I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm just hoping it's better than part 2. If it's as good as part 1, in regards to how I felt about part 1, then I'd be stoked. But yeah, I'm just hoping that it finishes off like nice and tidy, but also in a very fun way. And I'm just interested to see if they set anything up like for what's going forward on DC animation on the film side. Because of course we know like James Gunn's come in, and we did hear some of the people that were behind this like Crisis 3-part event, and they don't really know what's going on. But they also said they're not stopping development on things, so they're still working on things to come out and stuff. We know there's other animated movies coming out, like there's that like the Aztec Batman thing and stuff like that. So it just makes you wonder whether maybe they're just standalone Elseworlds animated thing, or not Elseworlds, but just standalone animated things, rather than this connected universe like we had previously, and then with the Tomorrowverse, which then led into, you know, this Crisis event. So it'll be interesting to see if they set anything up or if they tie a bow on it. Once again, we might learn more at Comic-Con, probably around the time this 3rd part premieres, but that's a wait and see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.